Monday, everybody. We're talking hail sales plan of attack on today's lockdown. Appreciate you guys joining in. Got some questions came in over email and have some stuff we're going to jump in to help you respond when it hails, which should be at any minute. So, some housekeeping things before we jump in. iTunes just approved podcast. So if you're driving around your truck, you can listen to all these. All these episodes are getting posted to the podcast. You can search for it, the Roof Strategist podcast. It's on all the major podcast networks. Sometimes I think that the last one was iTunes. It just had to approve it. So if you're cruising around your truck, you've got that. Second, please submit your questions, guys. I'm going to be doing these every day, Monday through Friday, and I really want to build them around what questions you have. And I've got a few here on my little tablet that we're going to jump into today. So adam@roofstrategist.com. Super appreciate it. It's been an outpouring of emails and engagement and people reaching out, and I love it. So everyone that emails me, you get a personal response. I try to respond to them as quick as I can. It might take me a day or so, but rest assured, every email that is sent to me gets responded to me. Gets responded to by me personally. So without further ado, we're settling in with a fresh espresso here, getting zipped up on some coffee. And I'm going to be talking about hail sales plan of attack. So what prompted this? A couple things. I was sitting there watching the news yesterday, and obviously weather alerts were coming out for pretty much all the Midwest that was under severe weather alert, tornadoes, large hail, all that stuff. We're coming into the season, especially, early for the northern market, southern market. You guys are getting it already, I know, and it's only going to be ramping up from here. And it's critically important that you have a plan of attack. So I'm going to be going over a punch list item of a few things to help you get ready for having your hail sales plan of attack for not if, but when it hails. And there's a chance that it might be hailing during this COVID-19 pandemic, and you're going to have to know how to respond and literally have systems in place. I cannot emphasize this enough. We've been doing a lot of predictions. I started this series kind of on accident. And truthfully, I know this might sound silly. My wife's a big Death Cab for Cutie fan. And when their lead singer, I forget his name, Ben something or other. Anyway, he's been doing these lives playing every day. It's like, man, that'd be something really great to do for my community to give back. So anyway, that's kind of how this whole thing started. I hadn't shared that. Ben Gibbard, I think is his name. She tunes in every day and sets an alarm for it. So at any rate, this stuff might be going on a little longer than we anticipated. And it is critically important for us to have our plan of attack in place for this reason. When it hails, it's almost like a pot of gold gets dumped on a city, and it's a giant race to who can scramble it up. That's the analogy I always use, right? And one thing to consider is this is a image I've always tried to communicate with owners when I was working with them in their sales teams. When it hails, and the people who aren't prepared respond like this. Have you seen those like TV shows where they put a guy in a money box, right? And like money's flying around in the box in the air and everyone's just like freaking out, trying to grab it all. That's what happens when it hails. Okay. The person who's reactive is doing that, like trying to grab in the air with no real strategy or plan. Just like, how do I get as much as I can? I'm going to work real hard and work real fast. It doesn't work. But someone who's smart and planned ahead might sit in there and they're going to say, hey, how do I do this the smart way? And they're going to take their shirt off and make like a parachute. And they're going to scoop it in the air like a net and try to grab it all in the air, right? So they're going to have a more tactical, thought out approach. And that's the difference of what we're going to go over today, is having that plan so you're not freaking scrambling. Because guys, in the past, and gals, in the past, it's been a race. It hails. It's like first to ground zero, first to penetrate the low-hanging fruit, first to open up their neighborhood. That's who's going to win the business and who's going to open up that honey hole and dominate. Right now, the ball game is completely leveled. Okay, it is going to be, it's anyone's game now, and having a plan will make or break your success. So again, we're going to be talking about hail sales plan of attack. So let me scroll over to my notes here. First thing you need to do in your plan is to have a plan to market. Okay, how are you? So I want to leave you with a couple of pieces of advice, because this applies for both salespeople and owners who might be joining in today as well. One is your marketing strategy. You've got digital. That needs to be, you got to have more emphasis on digital than you ever have, okay? Because people are going to be searching online more intent. They call it intent-based marketing, right? So if I jump on Google and I type in like roofing company, Orlando, Florida, or Houston, Texas, or something, the results that come up are going to show me what I intentionally look for. Whereas people get real excited about Facebook marketing. No one goes on Facebook like, oh man, I hope I find that roofing company while I'm scrolling through my newsfeed looking at funny cat pictures. So you need to have that online presence up there too. Using direct mail. I've done countless videos on it. My under the radar sales letter, guys, that is the most valuable piece in my marketing battle pack. Now, whether you're in a position to purchase it or you want to purchase it, no harm, no foul, no pressure. My point is, whether you use my stuff or your own, you should be using direct mail because it's hyper targeted. You know what homes to hit. And just for a refresher, this is a strategy where you're driving through, you're writing down a name and address. You can use different apps like Interactive Hail Maps and Spotio or County Land Records to hyper target your mail to generate those leads. Okay. We're talking new yard signs to stake. Okay. That you maybe advertise your company name and you say, no contact service plan. Call now for a free virtual appointment, something like that. So you can get the phone ringing into you using letter leave behinds, okay, instead of knocking doors, which I know is going to be tough to do, and working the area of install. Again, in my battle pack, and I teach this, when you do an install and you can't go physically knocking doors, it's important for you to be able to leave something behind or send some direct mail to that. Okay. So you have to have your go-to-market strategy. Okay. Direct mail, cold calling is great. I got a few emails saying, hey, is now a good time to cold call? Absolutely. I have cold calling scripts in my battle pack. If you're not in a position to get them, that's totally cool. Watch my Ace to Pitch video. Watch my cold calling videos. I have videos that will show you my approach because you can get past gatekeepers, especially commercial. Okay. So how to market is number one. We just touched that. Number two is how to run those appointments. So a lot of people now are going to be hesitant with social distancing to meet in person. And what we don't want is to have them have this internal fear of, I don't want to be near someone. I'm just not going to make an appointment. I'll put it off. Okay. We need to overcome that. One of my favorite, I've studied the marketing greats of our times, specifically in direct mail. And the reason I've loved studying direct mail and copywriting so much is because you learn to join the dialogue in someone's head and to think ahead in ways where you can have predictive, you're predicting what they're thinking and what they might be doing. And I can predict that homeowners are going to say, hey, I don't want to make an appointment yet because I don't, is it safe? Should I wait? Should I put it off? But if you can already overcome that objection without them even bringing it up and say, hey, we're going to handle this over video conference, over the phone, over FaceTime, over Zoom.us or Google Hangouts. All these are cheaper free tools. They'll say, hey, you know what? Maybe I can move forward on that. So you need to have that plan to how to run those appointments. Okay. If you're in an area where social distancing is like, boom, you got to do it. And you can't, stay at home orders, you got to respect that. So have that system, how to market, how you're going to run those appointments, use Zoom, use FaceTime, use Google Hangouts. You can do it on all this. And again, watch my videos. I don't want to rehash all this because you guys can go back, but again, using that phone for video and picture and videos for your inspection. So how to market, how to run appointments. Number three is how to run those adjuster appointments. I've been hearing, and there was some chat on the previous LockDown Live. Guys have been saying, adjusters are asking us to submit photos. This is a huge opportunity for you in two ways. One, faster. Two, you take the pictures that you want. Three, you have a lot more control. And four, what a great opportunity to have great relationships with adjusters. Guys, adjusters are going to want to work with you because if they're not out there running those appointments or they're not meeting with people and they have someone that's documenting things thoroughly and properly, if you can make their life easier, you're fast. How to market, I'm hoping you need to have electronic document signing. And that can be as simple as a PDF. Guys, don't be afraid to let people use their phone, PDF scanner, anyone. If you mail, you want to make it easy. You don't want someone to have to go load up. Who has one of these things? I do because it's my office, right? But I don't know who has a scanner and a printer at their house. No one. So if you're going to be doing any work underway, and remember for picking colors and stuff, there's another couple things that you can do. And that is, internet said it was unstable again. What were we just talking about? Cam scanner. Yeah. Give them, right? Boom. Now, color selection. That's what I was getting at. For color selection, what you can do is drop sample boards off and call your supplier. If you're using ABC, call the supplier, say, hey, I just need addresses with this color shingle, because it's so important to move the process along. If someone's like, oh, I don't really know what that looks like, drop those sample boards off, give them addresses of other homes that have that color. You want to make this as easy as possible for those So anyway, electronic document signing, how to run adjusters, how to run appointments, and then how to market. And the let's see, the last two things: what neighborhoods to target and pre-stuffing your envelope. So let's hit the last one first. When you are starting to market now and you're using that direct mail, it is important that you get mission ready, right? If it's going to hail, you got to be ready to respond. So what you want to do is all those direct mail letters, get them printed, signed, drop your business envelope with a stamp and your return address. That way, all you got to do, what you can be doing right now is doing that. That way, when stuff hits, man, just boom, slap that address on there, pop it in the mail. You're going to be much faster. The reason for this hail sales plan of speed to market. All right, neighborhoods to target. So, David, I'll be shooting you an email back, specifically asking about 3-tab. I literally had this on the agenda for today. Man, guys, I apologize if this was cutting in and out. I don't know what's going on. We have a high-speed line too, super high-speed line. All right. When we are talking the right neighborhoods, when we have that plan of attack, it's really important that you know how you're going to respond to a storm. Are you going to go into ground zero and battle over those other roofers? Do you want to be literally fight, or do you want to work a fringe area? Do you want to layer on your yard sign or not? All these are things you need to think for what I call all the low-hanging fruit. So that's 3-tab roofs, older roofs. The reason is there might be evidence of old hail. The shingles are compromised and older, and the likelihood of them getting damaged by a storm is much higher. And David said, hey, I'm curious. And David, I know I'll send you a more personal. I'm always wanting to target 3-tab roofs. If nothing else, I find more meaning in helping people who are going to need a roof at some point versus just, I know it to some degree, like a job's a job, right? But for me, like bringing that meaning to my work. And if I can find someone who has a 3-tab roof that's going to need to get replaced, they're missing shingles, to me, it's a way more gratifying. I like to identify those neighborhoods that are older homes, older construction, built in the 80s and 90s, the tail end of the lifespan of the roof, because you know that the need is higher. It's an easier sale. I'm sure you guys have run into it in a home that's newer, and they're like, oh, well, the roof was done 2 years ago. Well, great. That person's like, there's a much higher likelihood of them saying, I don't need it unless the roof's obliterated. But if you can find someone who an older 3-tab, or they're showing visually, it just doesn't look great. The colors are faded. There's mismatch. You can tell it's been patched. Whatever it is, right? To them, it's like, oh man, I'm going to need it at some point. Why not now? So getting clear on how you're going to penetrate that storm in that market when you overlay that hail swath will be so helpful for you to focus of deployment. Around the other way, use Google Maps, guys. Jump on Google Maps or Earth and zoom in, and you'll be able to see older homes, older neighborhoods, especially using Street View, just cruising around and scouting it. So whether you're getting ready for re-emerging into the market once things return back to normal, which could be a bit, or to sales plan of attack for when not sales during this COVID-19 outbreak, you're going to need a plan how to market. I highly recommend you use direct mail and cold calling. And I highly recommend you the letters you're using, whether you're using your own or the stuff in my battle pack. I would use that ASAP. You can print stuff, get them ready to go, address them, and pop them in the mail. Okay. And again, if you need help, I'm offering some pricing assistance right now. Just shoot me an email, adam@roofstrategist.com. How to run those appointments, how to run the adjuster appointments, getting set up on electronic signature neighborhoods you're going to target. It's going to be a short one today. Any questions, pop them in the chat. Every day I've said that. You guys have kept me longer, which is A-okay. But let's see. Trifecta says, good stuff. Hey, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate you joining in. And I'll be doing this again tomorrow. I'm going to be moving in tomorrow to a little bit more personal stuff too, to help keep us all in check, in balance, and in a good spot, not only through this, but through the season. So that is all for today. Thank you guys for joining me for another LockDown Live. If you haven't already done so, subscribe. You'll get notifications when I go live. There are different times because I'm busy. I'm trying to squeeze these in as much as I can. It's a big commitment to be doing these every day, Monday through Friday. So subscribe if you haven't. Hop into my email list. the Roof Strategist Insiders, there's a link in the video description. You can check out all my stuff. There's links in the description here. Share and check out the podcast, Spotify, iTunes, and everywhere else that you listen to podcasts. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow. Wait, see, here it is. This always happens. Money moves. Thanks, Edgar. Totally agree. Let's see. Do you have a few softwares or personal preference for address gathering? That's a great question. So I'm actually going to be doing meeting with Trey from Spadio here shortly on Wednesday, I believe. And I know that they have the ability to pull addresses from there. I've also heard, I used to be more involved with Interactive Hail Maps. I haven't used their stuff in a while, but Interactive Hail Maps, so far as I understand, has address gathering as well. And then there are a bunch of list options available to purchase, like Info USA, things like that. There's a tremendous amount of technology out there to get either targeted email lists. You can even segment for like commercial properties and stuff like that. And then for phone numbers. Now, all of those can be good. They're good for mass mail. But for me personally, I find a higher success rate in targeted stuff. So to me, that's driving around. That's going through a neighborhood that might have been at ground zero and looking for all the roofs that haven't been done, or all the roofs that don't have a yard sign in it yet. And I like jotting down those addresses like I show in my Under the Radar sales letter video, because it's super specific. So it's a little bit more cost effective. It takes a little bit more manual effort, but I've found that those are really, really, really effective ways to do it. So, again, you can purchase a list, check out Spadio, check out Interactive Hail Maps, but those should definitely help out. Do know though that like cold calling, specifically residential, you got to be mindful of do not call us and stuff, so you can get in trouble. And I have had some success with hiring telemarketing companies, but it's important that you have a good company that you're using, by the way, and that they are setting the expectations properly and the appointment rate is good. Because I've had with the same, it's so funny. I just had a company out here not long ago, and they were like, oh yeah, we've been using telemarketers. And they told me the name of who they were using, and I had used them like 8 years ago. And he said the same thing. He's like, they had great, and I'm not using names on purpose here, because they did great stuff, but then like quality dropped off, similar to how your crew, you'll get that roofing crew who like does awesome work. They want to like be like, oh, keep us busy, man, keep us busy. And then their installs are great. And then all of a sudden the quality drops off, and you're like, you got to have that moment, that talk with them. And then you're like, you got to pick it up, and then they get freaked out, and then they ramp up their quality. So telemarketing can be the same. So just be mindful, because you want to make sure that those leads that you're getting, people are actually there when you show up. All right. Edgar says, you mentioned that you have letters in your sales program. What are the costs for those? Great question. So Edgar, here's a scoop. My marketing battle pack, and I don't want this turned into a sales pitch. I'll just give you a quick answer. The rest is on the page. There's a link in the description. So inside, and people email, say, hey, your program, I want to buy your course. I do things differently. There's a lot of people out there that do a course, and I have just chosen a different path for this channel. So all the training, like the tactical insights and all that, you're getting for free on this channel. What I have available for purchase is my marketing battle pack, which is an entire library full of marketing material that you can literally print out on your home computer. So you download it literally instantly. So immediately upon checkout, you'll be prompted to download, and then you'll get a confirmation email with the download. And inside, you'll see a welcome video showing you how to use everything. The document itself is in yellow, where you need to put your information in. It's as simple as humanly possible. So you put in your name, your company name, your phone number, your address, all that, and you print it out. And the reason I say to print it on your home computer and not some sort of, not to send it off like for a yard sign design or door hanger design, is all that stuff screams marketing material. It screams mass produced, right? So when you deliver really simple stuff on printed paper, it creates a very human connection with people. And the other thing that it does is it stands out. So when everyone else is putting overly produced marketing material, they see it, they're like, they're going through either their mail or what's ever hung on their door up front. And they're like, marketing, 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 marketing. And then they see a folded piece of paper or hand address, and they're like, oh, interesting, that's personal. I'm curious what it is. So it piques their curiosity and increases the open rate. So anyway, inside my battle pack is all that stuff. You can see testimonials on the page in the link below. And again, it is a 30-day, no questions asked, money back guarantee. Guys, you can see, like, I'm committed to your success. If you're using it and it doesn't work, just email me. And chances are 9 times out of 10, by the way, it's because someone's using it wrong. And I had this happen. someone saying, hey, your letters aren't working. I said, tell me how you're using them. He's like, oh, I'm leaving them behind. I'm like, no, you mixed them up. Those are the ones that go in the mail. So then I get a letter back. By the way, his testimonials on the page. He says, by the way, your letters are working, homie. And I quote. So anyway, Edgar, hope that answers your question. It's all literally turnkey, ready to go. I got call scripts, canvassing scripts, referral program, referral letter leave behinds, emails to send for production, insurance agent networking material, my 5 under the radar sales letters, which by the way, I've updated to COVID-19 relevant. So anyone that does purchase, I'm emailing those manually now. So it might take a day. Just email me and remind me, but I promise you, I will send those so you have them right away. So you can start using those during this pandemic. But anyway, that's what's in there. And again, you're welcome to email me. I'm offering a $50 off coupon to folks that are tight right now, just to help out. So hope that helps. All right. I didn't want this to get into anything about, I don't want you to feel like I'm sitting here trying to sell anything, because I'm not. This is for you guys. So let's close with this. How to get your hail sales plan of attack. All right. Get proactive. Spend this time into investing in your mind, how you're going to respond, not if, but when it storms, either during this pandemic, so you know how to handle social distancing, how to market, how to run appointments, how to run adjuster appointments, how to deal with electronic signatures, and then what neighborhoods to target. So get all that stuff mapped out. And Edgar, sorry, I hope that answers your question. If it doesn't, just chime in. I just didn't want to go give you more than you asked for. So get all that stuff put together. Get your electronic document signature process in place. Educate your homeowners. Remember, they can do a PDF scanner on their phone. So if you mail them things, they can scan them simply and send them over. And again, don't be shy to start using some new technology, Zoom, Google Hangouts, that stuff. Speed is your best friend. Okay. I know they say if you're not first, you're last. And I think that's going to be relevant now more than ever. So be quick, be ready. And remember that analogy, guys. I just want to close with this to loop it back to that story that I started off with. Most people handle a fresh hailstorm like they're inside that money box, like the all glass walls and the money's flying around, and they're just panicking. They're like, well, if I just work real fast and do this and like stuff money in my pants and my socks, like I'll make good money. But ultimately what it takes is a strategic approach. It's just taking a step back and having a plan. And the smart person's going to walk in there and they're going to take their shirt off and make a little parachute and scoop that money out of the air. And that's the difference between taking the approach that most salespeople, and forget the COVID-19, the coronavirus stuff for a minute, even though it is relevant now more than ever. That mindset of hustle, go fast, make money, just scramble is how most people do it. And they end up working themselves into a bad spot, which is what happened to me. And I'm going to be sharing that story a little bit tomorrow. So plan ahead, get a plan identified, make sure your team is on board, make sure your company's on board, and you're going to crush it. Thank you all for joining me for another LockDown Live. I will see you tomorrow. Keep an eye on your inbox. I'll shoot you an email about 30 minutes in advance. And if you subscribe to the channel, you'll see a little notification. That's all, guys. Give me a thumbs up. Drop any comments. If I missed anything, shoot me an email. I'll make sure to bring those questions in for the next one. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Take it easy.